of the problems with the capitalistic system is they kind of wait for you to come to them. They wait for you not only to have a problem with your psychological well-being or the bureaucratic system, but the moment you try to get help, everyone says you can push harder, you can try harder, you can make it. They put it all on you. They make you feel crippled if no matter how hard you try, you just can't make it. You just don't have the skills or the abilities. There's this unspoken shadow looming that if you can't make it, you're a loser. If you can't navigate the current system, there's a problem with you. And this only perpetuates people not getting help. So they can't navigate the system. They don't want to. They don't want to feel ashamed. See here, the system encourages us to be neglected. And then the people who are not so psychologically evolved to change the systems or know how to, or even have a desire to want to, they say you're not trying hard enough because they can't see the reality any way out, that there's a way out. Now in my case, it's just making a video on TikTok, which on average gets 100 to 200 views. What will really create change is if people in government, in Congress, close to the executive branch, say there's a systemic problem. There's a large portion of the population that's being neglected, that doesn't have what they need until later in life, whereas this oligarchical system forgets about them and wants to, because that's how they thrive. They're built on that system, a system of neglect. It's not to bash people, it's not to bash systems in general. It's to make it clear that there's a problem right now where people are just not getting taken care of. And no matter how much they cry, no matter how much they try, they are always blamed. Because you have to take care of yourself, you couldn't make it happen. You have the power, they say. And sure, you can try, you can put in your effort, you can do what you can do. But after a certain point, there's a collective unconscious, a spiritual component that you have to factor in, a psychological component that's keeping you in loop. That's making sure that you can't succeed, that you can't reach the point that you want to reach. How many years will a person have to keep going, making the same mistakes over and over and over until the public says, yeah, it's not his fault. He didn't do anything and we've been blaming him for his problems. Because when they realize that, they have no ego. So it takes to the bitter end until they realize that they've been cruel, evil, to when they make that declaration, that admission of guilt. So my hope is that the next president is someone with compassion, a love for people, who wants people to thrive and doesn't give into this game of dominance, of hierarchy, making sure one person succeeds at the expense of another, which has perpetuated the problems that very few see as a core issue, when it's so blatantly obvious for those who don't have, or those with disabilities, or those who see how the political systems are working, the economic system, our perspectives on money, and not realizing everything's a grab that takes before someone else can take. Everyone's trying to enjoy their luxury at the expense of someone else not having it. And there's this hypocrisy, people not realizing that by ignoring someone who's suffering, or someone who lacks a basic need, something that most society is able to get, it's as if you're the one who's causing it. If someone is suffering, everyone has a responsibility to put in their effort to change the system. Yes, help them individually, but if you have power and you know how to get through the system, you gotta change it and make sure that it does. Because no one else is gonna want to change it if their benefits will dry up as a result. So I appeal to my followers to make a change. This is of the utmost importance, because if you lose sight and get lost in the system in merely focusing on your job and making enough money, you will forget the core issues and the needed change won't happen. So the punchline is UBI, Universal Basic Income, is a necessity for the United States and everywhere in the world so we can survive properly.